Happy Monday, PlugTalkSports, episode 47. I can't believe we're getting to 50 already. We got to come up with something big for episode 50. You guys are not tired of us yet with 50 episodes, but it's great to be here. We got Jonathan in the house. And, dude, this guy looks like that Michael Jordan meme when he's sitting in the back of the bus with the headphones on. All he's missing is the glasses. And then, of course, the man and the myth, the legend, I like to call him Isak with Isaac Gomez, voice of G. They call me voice. All of the types of names that he has with him. It's great to be here. You guys into bad news or good news first today?
I guess bad news. Let's bring the bad news.
Okay, let's start with Harry Potter down there. What's the the worst thing you saw last week?
Worst thing I saw last week, well, my art teacher Voldemort gave me a huge project to do in the last week of school, and I had to do a huge ass project. Look at this. Wait, where is it? Yeah, look at this. All these for a project, bro. So, what was it? Miss Sylvia Espinosa, professor for Miami-Dade. If you ever see me in the street, you can catch these hands, bro. I got psoriasis on my fingernails, by the way.
Damn.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the next one. Isaac, what's the worst thing you saw last week?
Well, I mean, I can't say this guy has cost his team the playoff series. The game is not over. I'm following the game right now. It's Boston Celtics against the Brooklyn Nets. Looks like Boston has taken a 92-86 lead. So I can't blame it all on Ben Simmons, but the hype about, I'm not being treated right in Philadelphia. The hype about all about Ben Simmons, his defense, his rebounding, how he can help a team, with his point guard talent. We haven't seen it. And this guy has just disappeared. He's out once again tonight for back soreness. And he also, his agent, Rich Paul, talked about mental health. And, and I know mental health as well as you, Danny, it's very important to have, a good sense of mental health, and even when you have bad days, to admit you have bad days. But at this point, if he isn't ready in game 4 in a series that right now Boston is looking to sweep, if you're not ready now, you just won't be ready. You will not be ready, and I don't know what it is, if it's the back soreness or mental health, but Ben Simmons he's just the shameless plug of the week for me.
Listen, man, you guys know I'm an advocate for mental health, and you guys know my story. Well, it's been 2 damn years already, bro. Like, is this guy, does he want to play basketball anymore? Like, and I tweeted out, I believe it was yesterday, that trade was the biggest highway robbery ever. Biggest highway robbery. The guy, he was like, oh, I'm going to play, and then they lost, and he's like, no, I'm not going to play anymore. Like, he's just being scared. Like, we all know what it is. But whatever. It's Ben Simmons. What can you expect? Worst thing I saw for me last week, I was at a convention with my broadcast kids that I teach in Orlando. And I'll tell you what, they had a dance party. The convention hosted a dance party for all of the high schools. The stuff that I saw was probably the most, it was amusing and entertaining, but the worst things I have ever seen. So one of our boys, and I'm not going to name any names here, but one of our boys was talking to a girl the entire, let's say the first 2 days, he had met her already. It comes to the dance party, she left him and started talking to one of our other guys. And he was like, hey, bro, I'm not trying to talk to you. 1, because I have a girlfriend. 2, because you were with one of my teammates. This is not a good thing. And then he sends an SOS text that's like, hey, come help me because there was a Wawa next to the hotel. And she was like, do you want to go get something to drink at Wawa? And like, he said yes. I told him, you're an idiot. You should have said no at least. Like, grow up here and should have said no. And he's like, I need help. Because the girl was taking the Wawa. We don't know what was gonna happen. It was a whole mess. It was that was the worst thing I saw. It's just the poor kid. The other kid was just heartbroken. He was like, "Well, I really thought that this girl liked me," and then yeah, bro, she was all over the place. Very interesting story.
Sad.
It was sad. It was very sad. But let's get rid of the sad. Let's get into good news. Uh, Janka, best thing you saw last week?
Best thing I saw. Best thing I saw. Best thing I saw. Yeah, I guess it would have to be the Heat taking a 3-1 lead.
I saw that
Now,
game.
now game 3. The refs were a little bit making it rain a bit, on the side, but game 4, it was just a blowout. You could obviously tell just from the jump, even though the Hawks did take the first quarter by 1, but you could obviously tell that he wanted it way more the entire game. You could obviously tell just by the charisma, it was just lopsided the entire day.
Isaac, best thing you saw?
So I'm not going to call him Jose Mourinho. I'm not going to call him the chosen one, but Manchester United, after months and months of Sky Sports and all these outlets speculating who is going to be the coach of Manchester United has appointed Eric Ten Hag, I'm probably saying his name wrong, as their new head coach, following, of course, the end of this season. And I'm happy that they're going with this approach, that they're staying away from Pochettino, the PSG guy. They're staying away from some of the other ridiculous names that are out there. Wayne Rooney, in fact, was out there at one point to coach Man United. So, I'm glad. I don't know if this will be the end all, right? Where you hire a coach and that's it. Your team is set. There's still a lot of improvement for that for the team to be made, but getting their head coach, I think, right is very key, and I think Manchester United did that. As Danny stays quiet, as Real Madrid is about to announce everybody.
Also honorable mention.
Yeah.
Inter Miami beating Atlanta like I predicted. So, go ahead, Daniel. For yours.
I was gonna say, I mean, once you said Manchester United, my mind turns to mediocrity, so it just shuts off.
Well, I hope this new hire will help cut down on the mediocrity. Because right now I feel like a Knicks fan. That's how I feel.
Down there?
Yeah, it's pretty lonely down there. My plug of the week is gonna have to be kind of roasting myself. I don't know, Isaac, if you've ever with Emily at Islands of Adventure ever done that Ollivander's wand experience. So like we went in this part of the convention. We got to go to Universal the first day we got there, and we went to the Ollivander's wand experience where like the guy reenacts everything and he gives you a wand and like the wand chooses the wizard type thing. And when he's getting ready to pick somebody, I raised my hand. I was like, I wanted to get picked. Like I wanted to feel like Harry Potter. The guy straight up looks at me and goes, "Put your hand down. This is not a class." And I was like, damn, okay, that's how we're gonna play it. I saw that guy when he was on his like break from his shift. I saw him and I looked at him and I was like, "What's up, bro? You ready to throw hands?" I could have gotten a free wand, Isaac. Unfortunately, guy wanted to be rude in his I thought it was a kid's thing.
I'm sorry. Are we on a plug on the week? Or are we still shameless?
No, that was plug of the week. I mean, it was the best thing I saw because
Sorry.
It sounded pretty sad.
I know. And
What is?
list on there.
Unless you're
okay.
calling
You were doing fine. We won 41 awards. That's a good thing.
Of course, that's what we want to hear. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, we won 41 awards.
Be positive.
All right, well, let's get into the topic. Let's get into NBA playoffs. I've been waiting for this since like last night because I've been wanting to hear Jonka go off. But he told me. He really told me. I've had the Phoenix Suns going to the NBA Finals. But unfortunately, right now, it's a 2-2 series. The New Orleans Pelicans have tied it up. And Jonka, you can go ahead. You can tell me. You can say, "Oh, I told you so," like you usually tell me. Yeah, go ahead. I give you the floor.
Si la vaca no come su hierba, no puede caminar. I said it. And for anybody that doesn't know what I just said, if the cow doesn't eat his grass, he can't walk, or she, whatever it is. I'm telling you right now, the Suns cannot play without Booker, bro. Chris Paul is a shell of himself. He's old. He's I guess maybe top 5 point guards of all time, but he cannot carry a team. I am he can be a good number 2 or number 3, but he is not a number 1. Nobody on the Suns right now is a number 1. Booker was their number 1. DeAndre Ayton, he's playing some good defense, but he's not playing to the potential that he should be. DeAndre Ayton is bigger than the Pelicans. They should be lobbying to him 30 times a game, but they're not. I don't know why. Because Chris Paul's a show himself. I'm gonna keep saying it until he just like chokes the series. Okay, and then now.
Well,
okay, go ahead.
Here's the thing. The thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you like that one, huh? You like that one. You guys like that one. I saw Isaac get a little smile up there. He liked that one. Here's the thing. The thing is that Booker will be back from his slight injury, whatever this is.
I don't think in the series.
Here's the other thing.
He's not.
The other thing is that the Phoenix Suns will probably get past the series, I hope. Dear God, because then my prediction will be totally wrong and you can get out past the first round.
Say it. I didn't even say it. Say it.
You will get past the first round. I'm still in that. I'd still get past the first round. But, man, like, what does that say about a team in general when they lose one player? I know one player can be really important to a team, but you lose one player and you're in shambles? I mean, Chris Paul out here was getting wrecked by every New Orleans Pelicans player there was last night. Freaking guy.
Second rounder from Alabama. He was getting toasted.
He was giving out handshakes. Nobody wanted to shake his hand. He was getting slammed onto the floor. It was probably one of the worst performances in the playoffs for Chris Paul, but it's a little worrisome for me. And now I'm to credit to you, your speaking of wisdom, Jonka. It's kind of like leaning more to like Golden State Warriors in the finals.
What did I say? Bang, bang. Bang, bang.
That's what it looks like as of now. But do not get on your high horse. Look what happened to the Trojans. They got on their high horse with the walls and stuff like that. And these people came, made a fake horse. They thought it was a gift from God. And then, they flooded the entire city. So don't get overly confident.
Well, the Trojans were the ones that let the horse in.
Yes, that's what I said. They let the horse in.
Yeah, they're just being stupid.
Isaac, you want to add to any of this?
I mean, I was just going to check the Celtics and net score. Now you guys are talking about horses or Trojans. Or
107 to 99.
300. I don't know. but you know, and you talk about a team that didn't have that issue where their main player was out for multiple games in this regular season, and they're thriving with them in the playoffs. That's the Heat, right?
Yeah.
And the playoffs are all about depth because you're gonna have a guy like Chris Paul getting in these battles where he's diving for loose balls and getting beat up. Or, you need another player, especially when Chris Paul's a great point guard. We can talk about some of the great shots he's hit and clutch and all that, but if you don't have a consistent power forward or shooting guard like a Devin Booker, I mean, your offense just goes to what.
Yeah.
And to your point, Giancarlo, like Ayton doesn't look like the same player on the floor without Booker. And so we've really seen the value when you talk about maybe not MVP, right? But we see the value that Devin Booker brings.
Yeah.
But I still see the Suns kind of just figuring it out here. Jose. You guys heard the chants in the game. I don't know how long that can last, and I don't think for much longer. And McCollum is, I think, Giancarlo, you were talking about Chris Paul being like an imposter. I think for me, CJ McCollum is one of the biggest imposters.
I agree with you. I mean, but I don't think he's going to continue to have this slump because at any time like he can shoot, like he has his moments where he can go hot, and it hasn't happened this series. So I know the next game is in Phoenix. Could CJ go get hot in Phoenix? It is possible and steal a game. That would be huge.
Yeah.
We focus shift onto another series that Isaac brought up. For me, the Brooklyn Nets are the biggest bust in NBA history. In NBA history.
I don't know, bro.
I
think it's the Lakers.
Because you have talents like Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, you had James Harden, you have Andre Drummond, you have Seth Curry now.
Curry's got 20 points, by the way, guys.
Yeah, he's cracked.
This was a team now for about 2 years already that was supposed to go to the finals. I would not say the Lakers because the Lakers, 2020, the bubble, they got their chip already.
But it wasn't the same team, though.
It wasn't the same team, but they got their chip already. The monkey's off their back. The Nets haven't accomplished anything.
Yeah, but every year the team is different. It's not like in the bubble, they didn't have Westbrook. They had a bunch of other players that were better suited for LeBron. LeBron wanted to bring all these players in. He chose them. He's like, let me bring in all these veterans, all my friends. I wanted Westbrook, not Buddy Hield, not DeRozan. No, Westbrook. So it's like, okay, you have the best player in the world, apparently, the GOAT to some people, right? LeBron. You have AD. You got another MVP player in Westbrook. I mean, you basically have your friend Dwight Howard back in, and you got a good player in THT. Hey, that's basically like a good enough team to go all the way to. But the thing with the Nets is they didn't always have James Harden. They didn't always have Ben Simmons. Kyrie Irving wasn't playing half the games because of COVID and his vaccine opinion. And Kevin Durant was playing all the games in and out, and he's like he had no help. So it's like I can't really say yet. Maybe next year when they're fully healthy and then maybe their like communication, their chemistry is a little better.
Jonko, really, you can't even win one game in the series. Not one game.
I mean, I think we got to put that on Kevin Durant and Kyrie. I mean, that's it. They're just now they're on the floor. Like now, there's no excuses. And right now, Kevin Durant is 2 for 8 from 3. 2 for 8 from 3. And then as a team, I think they have to look it up right now, but they're like something like 30% from the line, like free throw percentage, which is key in the playoffs. And now you have Kevin Durant with 5 fouls. So it's just it's sad. It's really sad to see a team crumble like that. Like you said, Danny, one of the biggest busts. I wouldn't call it the biggest bust though.
Yeah.
Like, and look, and this is gonna be. I don't want to change the subject of what we're talking about today, but in my opinion, even as a Heat fan, seeing the 2012 Heat go to the finals and lose to the Mavericks, that to me is
2011.
the biggest bust.
2011, 2011.
2011, sorry, but yeah,
That pissed me off. That series pissed
that
me
was
off.
Hey,
ridiculous.
but listen, like they made it to the finals. They got through the Eastern Conference playoffs. Like at least they made the finals and they won games in the finals. These people can't get out of the first round. Granted, the Celtics are good, but like they cannot get in the first round.
But think about it. Also, this, like I was saying with the Lakers too, they were expected to go to the finals also, but they didn't even make the play in. So at least Brooklyn made the playoffs.
I don't think they had enough. I don't think that the Lakers, in my opinion, I don't think the Lakers had as much pressure and hype as the Brooklyn Nets did.
I guess not. I mean, but the LeBron, AD, Westbrook, they all had a chance. They were legit like 2, 3 games behind to make the play in. They definitely had a chance. But guess what? They got complacent. They're like, you know what? No, let's just take the year off. Like we're trash. You know, they just gave up. I feel like the Lakers gave up. Why I think they're even a worse team than the Brooklyn Nets right now. They just
Listen,
quit.
let's talk about the Heat. They're up 3-1. Game 5 is tomorrow.
Yeah.
They're looking for a gentleman's sweep. It's
Mhm.
looking. It might look. It's looking like they might have the Philadelphia 76ers in the second round. I
Yeah.
think maybe, and I called it, Jonka. I called it. I said that the Hawks would at least get one.
That game was bullshit. By the way, excuse my language.
I think. I think that Philadelphia will at least get two.
Without Embiid,
Well, how long is Embiid going to be out
I
for?
don't know. He had a fractured thumb or something like that. So I don't know if it was on a shooting hand or not. But I don't know how that's gonna be for. But still, an injured Embiid helps us in a way. So
Look, without Embiid, I'll still give them one. With Embiid, I give them two.
okay.
But the Heat have really played outstanding defense. And what's so good about the Heat is that they have a solid bench that helps them. And you know who I want to see more minutes of because he's been playing good? Victor Oladipo.
Yeah, they
Him
put him
and,
in yesterday for the first time.
and there's no Kyle Lowry for tomorrow. He is out. And he makes such a big difference. But I think that this team is so good that they can win without him.
They've shown that.
I think they're sending him out just so to get ready for the next series.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
we got Utah and Dallas tonight. They're tied at 2-2.
that's a fun series.
It really
That's a
is.
good series
Going
right now.
into-
And Memphis and
So
Timberwolves.
it's a great series.
That's a really cool series too. Like two young teams. Really
I'm
cool.
going for Minnesota in that one.
Minnesota.
I'm going for Memphis.
I like both teams.
I
So
like Ja's amazing.
Yeah, I got to go with Anthony Edwards, Carl Anthony Towns.
Oh, Anthony. He hit that crazy 3 too. Like we're starting to see, I would say Carl Anthony Towns, like for me this season, at least he surprised me. He's really come around. Maybe not superstar level just yet, but
like what star level?
he's close. Yeah.
Because sometimes he plays well, sometimes he plays not so well.
Sometimes he plays soft. That's on
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah.
Let's switch it up. Let's talk some fighting. Tyson Fury winning a fight. But of course, the fight wasn't the main attraction. It's what happened after the fight. He
Yeah.
says it made no sense that he said he was retiring, yet he was going to fight Francis Ngannou from the UFC. Technically, you're not retiring.
It's like a Mayweather fight. You know?
Yeah, but that's the same thing. Like plenty of boxers and MMA superstars have pulled for years now. Oh, I'm retiring. and then like a year later they come out with a brand new fight, and that's just, I guess that's just the way that game works over there. Uh, are you guys hyped to see Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou?
Absolutely. Like, I, and I just want to comment quickly on the fight too. The punch that Tyson Fury stopped Dylan White with was brutal.
The uppercut, right?
Yeah. He kept like jabbing with his left, and then right before the guy expected it, just boom, and just knocked him back out. And then I don't know if you saw post fight, Dylan White was like, "Oh no, Tyson Fury illegally pushed me," and like, no, you watch the tape and he's like lifeless on the floor. Like, there's no way that happened because of a push. That was a brutal uppercut. But yeah, no, I'm definitely hyped up to see Francis Ngannou, who has that one punch power that maybe Deontay Wilder, you can probably compare them to, in just power, in punching power. But we've seen also in the fights that Francis Ngannou has struggled with, like where his movement just isn't as fluid, where he's just looking for that knockout punch, and I think that's what's going to happen. So it's pretty early, but like I say Tyson Fury knocks out Francis Ngannou via TKO, not completely knocks him out, but beats him by TKO.
That's an interesting take.
I didn't see the fight. I only saw the highlights. So
That's an interesting take because Francis Ngannou is such a big guy. And I know Tyson Fury is too. But like, that's if two mountains were going up against each other. Like, you can't expect. Like, I don't know. I just can't see like one knocking out the other. I feel like it would be a dog fight all the way to the end.
I mean, I think it would be one of those things, like the same thing with Conor and Mayweather, where you have an athlete that's particularly comfortable with MMA and that style of training, and you just throw him in there, and what he has what now? Let's just say he started training now, which, I mean, I'm sure Francis Ngannou has been training for a minute, but he has what, a year to train to fight one of the baddest guys on the planet, like in boxing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. What is he gonna do? What is he gonna change? Like, I've seen Francis Ngannou fight for the heavyweight? Yeah, heavyweight belt. And he beat Cyril Gane, who's great at Muay Thai, who uses a lot of leg kicks, who you have to be able to move around to get away from a Muay Thai fighter, and he did that. So, but even then, I still think, like, let's say as Francis Ngannou starts to get tired towards the end of the fight, he's looking for that one big knockout instead of trying to put his punches together, and that's where an experienced guy like Tyson takes over. That's just my take.
I don't know, man. I'm 50-50.
It's
I'm
fun,
50, I'm 50-50 on it. Like, yeah, we saw you talk about Conor. We saw Conor step into that world of boxing, but he didn't get knocked out either. I mean, yeah, he got woozy. Mayweather had a great strategy to get him tired. I'm not being biased. Maybe I could have seen Conor continue that fight. Like, yeah, he was a little woozy. He was kind of like wobbling at that point, but it didn't look to me like he was at the point where like this guy like, really needed to fight right away because he was about to get killed. His feet. So I feel like he stopped it maybe a little early. But like I told you, this man, like I feel like it's gonna be a dogfight. Maybe I could the same situation where Francis and Ngannou will probably get tired.
yeah.
I mean, what other crossovers? I know there's been talk of other crossovers. I believe Carl Usman going into the boxing world will be an interesting fight.
Isn't Mayweather fighting again in Dubai?
Yeah. That would be very, very interesting.
Mayweather.
You're gonna
Somebody cooking back there?
Yeah, they're cooking they're cooking Chef Curry sauce over there. We're gonna talk about something Jonka was very interested, or I do believe Isaac was very interested in talking about, and that is the Florida Panthers hockey. These guys been on a tear, man. Uh, it's been very fun to watch them this year. Not gonna lie, I've gotten into hockey more than ever now this season just because of the Florida Panthers. And they've had some remarkable comebacks.
bro. Like I was it was I think it was Sunday, and I was watching TV, and I checked ESPN, scrolling, regular day, and I see that the Panthers are down, I think 6-2, and they're in the second period, and I'm like, damn, bro, they're getting obliterated today. Oh well, you can't win them all, right, bro? Bet you half an hour later, I get a text from my brother saying, "Yo, yo, 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 they're coming back. It's tied 6-6 in overtime. Oh my god!" I'm like, what are you talking about? What? The Panthers, they came back. The 6-6. Ah, they scored. They scored. They went crazy. I'm like, oh my god! Listen, the Panthers aren't just on fire this year. They found some sort of like magic cocaine in the rivers of Sunrise, where they're stoning it all day, and that's how they're making all these goals and comebacks. And that's what's gonna win. They make it win the NHL playoffs and then win that Stanley Cup.
Yeah, they've outscored every team like in total goals. Not like their division, their conference, like the entire NHL. They have 332 total goals this season, which is at least 30 more than the next best team. So uh, you have young guys too, on this squad that they've been able to pick up some veterans too. Um, and they, I mean, their goalkeeping is so nasty between Barkov and I think what's the other guy? I think Knight is the backup. You put the backup in, and you have just as much confidence in him doing a good job than the starters themselves. So I would say, like, I haven't followed hockey, but the reason why I wanted to bring it up today is just to give them their moment,
Yeah.
because they're killing it right now. And like you said, Giancarlo, like at any moment they're down 2 or 3 goals, no big deal. By the time the game's over, they've won, and it's good to see the team buzzing like that. There's not a lot of when you go a little bit more further up north than Dade County, you don't always see a lot of success, right, Danny? So it's good to see that going up there. So
What I'm surprised is like a hockey
I like
a
that.
hockey
Hey,
team in South Florida
nobody knows who
succeeding.
you're talking to. It's not me.
Like I don't get it. Like I've always liked hockey, but I've never really watched it. But like I've never understood. I never thought a hockey team in Florida or South Florida especially would be this good.
Tampa Bay Lightning.
Tampa Bay, like they came out of
the
nowhere.
team to beat. That's the team to beat. Uh, they
And
just
they're really
lost
good
eight
too.
to four against the Lightning, and you hope this is the year that they get over the hump because if they beat the Lightning, I mean, who is going to beat them at least in the Eastern, in their conference? Like nobody. So that's been a team that just for some reason we always run into. But you hope that this year is the year, and that I think that's why they made those trades. They made those moves towards the end of the trade deadline to get those veterans, experienced playoff veterans. So,
Like
so
I
yeah,
was thinking about going to one of those playoff games. Like now, this is like the hype is like really big now. I'm like, sure, I might have to go. And especially like we were talking about how hot they are. Like I think their last game they were down 1-0. They come back, they tie it 1-1. They go in overtime and they score and they win it again. I'm like, bro, does
yeah.
this team like does it
They
have
had
like
won.
some kind of
They
a
had
chip on their
won
shoulder?
13 straight games before
It's
losing the other day.
ridiculous.
And mind you, another thing that's really amazing about the Panthers this year that people forget is earlier in the season they fired their head coach.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're literally just running on assistant coaches and the next man up, right? Uh, so that's amazing to see.
so I I found something now that we're talking about hockey, and it was a really funny thing. So the Tampa Bay Lightning were at the White House today. When the team wins a championship, they visit the White House. Now, the NHL commissioner's name is Gary Bettman,
Mhm.
and our president called him Gary Batman. And he was speaking, and I just thought this was funny. He was speaking, and he's like, "I want to thank NHL Commissioner Gary Batman." And you can see in the background, there's a Tampa Bay Lightning player who turns around because he could not hold his laugh. It's a really funny video. I just thought we should bring that up because it was hockey, and I came across it today, and I thought it was really funny. And this also doesn't go along with what we were talking about, but I came across it as well, and I think Isaac would really appreciate it. But someone said online that Tiger Woods nearly lost his leg in his life and has had several back surgeries and even has played sooner than Ben Simmons.
True.
Yeah.
That's a true.
When you're telling me about the Batman thing, bro, for a second I thought you were gonna be like, "Where's Rachel? Where is she?"
But yeah, back to hockey. Yeah, man, I've been wanting to get myself down to up, should I say, to a Florida Panthers.
Far up.
They are the best team in Broward County. No shade there, but yeah, I've always wanted to see these fights in person. It's something that I think it's so fun, and like the sport is hockey is practically soccer on ice if you think about it. And it's just exciting. And those games, let me tell you, those games have been getting packed. Like that arena has been getting packed.
Well, I gotta say that the main difference between the two sports is when one gets hurt or one gets smacked around, they don't go rolling all over the floor.
I knew you were gonna say something like that. But yeah, I definitely need to get to myself to one of those games. Need to get myself one of those jerseys. Those jerseys are cool. As they call them, the cardiac cats.
Mhm.
Cardiac arrest after all that cocaine.
Tampa Bay Lightning, definitely, I think they're the number one threat in front of them. And it was last year too. I remember they beat the Tampa Bay Lightning in the regular season, and they came to the playoffs and they obliterated the Panthers.
Yep.
And the Maple Leafs, they're behind us.
So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. Going forward. This is going to be a great topic right now. I know that Janka agrees with me. I haven't heard Isaac's opinion, but we'll see what he has to say now. Yesterday at Drive Pink Stadium, Inter Miami was taking on Atlanta United. Of course, the new Inter Miami is on a now a 3-game winning streak in league play. Obviously, they don't. It would be a 4-game winning streak if you count that U.S. Open Cup win over Miami FC. But in league play, it's been 3. This was an Atlanta team that scored early in the 13th minute. Miami conceded. Had fans worrying of oh man, here we go again. Atlanta's a team that's sitting 4th in the Eastern Conference. But there's been a guy who has been scoring for the last 4 games, and his name is Leonardo Campana.
Suena.
He's been playing very well. He's been a hell of a form. So a lot of people have been saying that the issue is Gonzalo Higuain because obviously Campana is taking over Higuain's position. Now, where we're going with this is that in the 82nd minute of yesterday's match, in which Campana scored to equalize the match and assisted the second goal to Bryce Duke to give Miami the lead, Phil Neville decides to substitute Campana for Gonzalo Higuain, and Drive Pink Stadium erupted into boos. And Campana, who was walking off the field, did this gesture, was looking at the fans and straight up went like this and was asking the fans, please don't boo him. Phil Neville as well turned around to look at the fans behind him and said, hey, come on, like don't boo him. and this game was on national television as well. There was several fans. I was in attendance of the game. There was fans that attempted to throw stuff uh, onto the field. There was a Coke can that landed near my area that was thrown from far above. A lot of verbal stuff were being chanted at Gonzalo Higuain. And the question is, was this the right thing? Does Gonzalo Higuain deserve this sort of treatment, from the Miami fans, or is this just the Miami fans being classless? Isaac, if you want to go first, the floor is yours.
I mean, I don't think my opinion would differ, hopefully, with you guys. But basically, I mean, how I feel about it as an outsider, because I am an Inter Miami fan, but I didn't watch the game. So I'm just speaking into it, just hearing your perspective. Um, Even as bad as my other favorite team, Manchester United, is, I can't find myself being in the stands and booing the players and stuff, even as embarrassing as they are. But I think the fans, maybe might have been upset that the coach was taking off a player that had scored, had assisted, had played very well, and now in the 82nd minute, which if I'm looking at the stats correctly, like they won 2-1, right? 2-1 was the final score.
Yep.
So at any point you're Inter Miami, you've given up 3 or 4 goals a game and messed up or whatnot, and now you're going to take the best player off the field, or the person who's played the best in the game, and you're going to put Gonzalo Higuain. And I could see why that would not be a great move, or why the fans might not think, hey, that's the best thing. But to be booing Gonzalo Higuain, yes, of course, his campaigns have been underwhelming, but nonetheless, he's still a leader, and he's still a veteran and a legend, and let alone probably more successful than anybody in those stands to begin with. So, very, I think a dark moment for the club, and really just disrespectful. You don't do that to a club legend, let alone Gonzalo Higuain.
Yeah. Janka?
I agree with you, Isaac. Maybe, okay, I understand why they would boo, because like you said, they were winning the game. They didn't want to give up maybe a crazy goal to tie it up and then lose the lead. But okay, he got substituted. You know what happens. It's the game. People get, even the best of players get substituted. But there's no need to boo the guy. Like, seriously, I think it was just an overreaction. It's like the heat of the moment. They've been on the streak. They didn't want to lose the streak or with a draw. So I guess like the people reading into social media is like, oh, Higuain, he's been out, we've been winning. So I guess that got into their mindset. It's like, okay, Higuain's out, we're winning. Maybe this is a new way we can go. Maybe he takes Campana out, bring him in, and there goes the overreaction. And then, but the booing, nah, that's a bit extra, man. Like, that's disrespectful for the guy. Like, he's busted his ass his whole career, even though he did, make a huge error in the World Cup. But I'm not gonna bring that up right now. But I mean, he is a good player, cool guy, all that stuff like that. He doesn't deserve to be booed. He's one of the best players, in MLS and probably in the world right now. So it's like you can't really boo the guy for being subbed in. It's like, it's not his fault.
Okay. Here's my take on it. Gonzalo Higuain, listen, yes, he's older. He doesn't have the match fitness of what he used to be. We understand that. Having been up close for a season, he's had a rough go in Miami. His first season in Miami, his mother passed away.
That's tough.
And that clearly impacted him a lot. He was in Miami alone, away from his kids, because they were still trying to get the visa resolved to get to Miami, to get to the United States. So his mom passed away. His family's not with him. The only thing that had him going in this club was his brother Federico.
Yeah.
and that's the relationship that they had. That's why he's somewhat stayed connected to Inter Miami was because of his brother. So that's one thing. The second thing, the reason why I think he demands respect and he should be respected is this man has played at Real Madrid, 190 appearances in Real Madrid. It's not easy to stay in a team like Real Madrid for so long. Or any big club like Manchester United or Barcelona, in those clubs, if you don't perform well, you're done. You're gone. They're trading you for the next new and big thing. And the fact that he was able to stay in Real Madrid for 190 appearances and go to Juventus, AC Milan, Chelsea. Right before he joined Inter, he was at Juventus with Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, facts.
This is a man that people have been frustrated that he has bad, body language in the field, that he complains so much. I can understand that. But at the same time, I can understand his frustration to the point where you go from playing with a Cristiano Ronaldo or a Paulo Dybala to playing with these people who come out of college.
Facts.
Every time Paulo Higuain play a ball and switch the field, the ball lands perfectly where it needs to be. And a lot of time, the ball falls out of bounds, not because he's a bad pass by Gonzalo, but it's because his teammates don't understand where the ball's going to be. Because if you play soccer, and especially watching soccer, you put that ball in that spot because you know your teammate's going to make the run and he's going to be there. So I think I can see both sides. But I think he's misunderstood. And I think that the way that the Miami fans conducted themselves yesterday, and especially on national television, I think it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for the fan base. It's embarrassing for the club. I don't have anything else to say about it. I mean, if you're Gonzalo Higuain, and I was thinking about it in my head, why am I going to try for these people? Why am I going to come out here and at least, continue to train hard and try for these people? And this is a fan base, and not only Inter Miami, but Miami in general, that we know definitely that if they go back to losing ways, the fans will disappear in an instant. They will leave. We know that's how Miami is. And as soon as they start winning, the more they'll start filling up seats again. That's just how Miami works. So, a lot of, in my mind, I was just sitting there thinking, there's so many people in this stadium right now that don't know soccer just because of what I'm hearing. Because if you know soccer, you know that this man has had a decorated career. Has played in World Cup finals. Again, played in the best clubs in the world. Has played with the best players in the world. And I think that alone, regardless of how old he is now and his form, and he hasn't been able to play good, I think that alone deserves respect. I don't know if anyone has anything to add on to that.
Well, I want to say two things. First of all, Danny, you sound like you're defending Tua. About the balls that fall short or whatever because the players don't know what they're doing. And then the other thing is the Celtics just swept Brooklyn.
Yep.
Yeah, series is over. But yeah, no, Jonka, I don't know if you feel any differently, but I agree with Danny.
No, well said. Oh, what I also want to say is, how fan bases act on at sports events. Like what happened with I was watching the Yankees game against I forgot who they were playing, but they were throwing trash onto the field. They were like okay, I forgot they just hit a home run, and these Yankees fans, they were like talking crap to the player, and then all of a sudden they start throwing beer, food, cans, all in the field trying to hit the dude. And I'm like, bro, like I understand, like fans they get like really emotional about things, but like you can't take it out on the players, bro. Like
And
they're people too.
I was sitting there just watching this unfold, and I was shaking my head while this was happening. And leaving that stadium, what came into my mind was these people don't deserve a team. These people don't deserve soccer because it's. I get it. We get frustrated with players sometimes. We get frustrated with their performances, but it's a fan base. You win and you lose together as a team, as an organization, as a fan base. And it's okay to voice your frustration. But again, this is a person who has done it all and opted to leave Juventus to come to your team, to Inter Miami. So think about it. When he arrived here to Miami, they weren't thinking. I tend to say that fans have a short memory. They don't look back until what he's done, for the club. This guy sold out jerseys for Inter Miami, was putting seats. He was scoring goals. He was the number one goal scorer for Inter Miami last year. So I don't understand. I don't understand people's short-term memory loss.
I think it's because of social media. They just like okay, they see all these fans that they're tired of losing, right? And all these fans that are tired of losing, they start writing, oh, like this is the problem, this guy's the problem, the coach is the problem. No, it's the management. No, it's whoever, right? Then
Well,
they
it's
start taking it
also
out on the players
I have to agree with
indirectly.
you. The media doesn't help either because the media is the one that creates these storylines. The media has been the one that has been pinning Gonzalo Higuain against Leonardo Campana. If putting them against each other to say, oh, because he's been scoring and Higuain hasn't been in the lineup, it's all Higuain's fault. The team is losing or where it's at because it's Higuain's fault. When in reality, it's not. The team is 11 people, and the reason why they've been losing is because they're not a good team.
I see Higuain as I'm using a Ted Lasso reference as Roy Kent, as like the big brother. I feel like he could teach Campana how to be a good scorer or
Of
like a
course,
good like I would like
Campana
to see
gets
that
credit.
maybe like fix his name up because everybody right now is like destroying his legacy right now because of how everything's turning out right now. All these boos, like I think he could be like a Roy Kent, by the way.
Leo Campana has come out and said, it's a dream for me to be here, to be playing alongside Gonzalo Higuain, because one of the people I idolized growing up was Gonzalo Higuain. So you bet he's gonna learn and try to learn from everything Gonzalo has to teach him. And it's sad to me that if this is the final year of the career of Gonzalo Higuain, that he's going out this way and being treated this way in the final year of his playing career.
I guarantee right now, in the last game of the season, they're gonna have a farewell game for Higuain. Watch everybody's cheering
I
with
doubt
their
it.
bipolar selves.
I doubt it. I don't see that happening.
Watch, people are quick to celebrate. They're gonna be like, "Watch, guys, come and celebrate Higuain's last game." Oh, and they're gonna go
Free hot
celebrate. They're
dogs.
gonna have a big ass party. They're gonna bring out all the good food, right? All the good food for that one
Yeah,
game.
good food.
Yeah, the one that runs out, the one that runs out before kickoff.
Exactly.
But let's get into the final topic of the evening. Um, Obviously, FIU and UM have had their spring practices already. I just want to go over the
Mhm.
schedule for both teams. We can go over University of Miami's first, how it's looking for them. Obviously, with a new coach, pretty much a new team. So week one, they have Basile Cookman.
Mhm.
Week 2, they play a team from Conference USA in Southern Miss.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have Texas
Just
A&M.
A&M. Yeah.
Then they have another team from Conference USA, which is Middle Tennessee. Then they play North Carolina to start off ACC play.
Tough.
Then they have Virginia Tech.
Tough.
Then
Hokies.
then Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the rivalry game against Florida State. Then Georgia Tech. Then Clemson. They will be playing Clemson this year. And then they finish off the season against Pittsburgh, who won the ACC.
Yep.
You're a UM guy. What are you thinking about the season?
All right. Here is what I'm gonna say. There are 3, maybe 4, significant games that will tell us the season. The first one is Texas A&M. They're number 1 in recruiting for the year. They have the most 5-star recruits in the entire of all universities for football. If we can beat, it's gonna be tough to beat them. But you know what? Anything can happen. We have a new coach, new players, or anything different staff. Different mentality. We're not the same team before. I completely agree. I completely believe that. So we're not the trash many Diaz team. 2, Clemson. Clemson is the number 2 game. You could never count out Dabo Swinney. You can never count him out. He's a great coach. They have great recruits also. That's gonna be another good team that we have to try to play and beat. 3 would be Pittsburgh, our last game. Obviously, they won the ACC last year, and we've always had trouble. We always had trouble with Pittsburgh. That year with Mark Richt, that we almost went undefeated for the season, we lost to Pittsburgh that last game, which pissed me off. But Pittsburgh is always a good team to play, and they're really strong too with their defenses. And then 4 would have to be North Carolina, like you said. North Carolina is low-key on the come up. Hey, I'm just gonna say North Carolina they're not that bad. They always surprise people.
And we're gonna go. So obviously FIU is also it's a new era for FIU, new athletic director, new head coach. There was a guy who was on campus last month. There was a player I came across, and he was saying, I don't know if this is true or not. Some people may find it comical, but he seemed serious about it. He said that they were going to fill up the stadium like the same time, the same way they did when TY was there. They seem very optimistic about it. This is what they had a spring game. There's a good turnout for the spring game. This is what their schedule is looking like. They start off week 1 against Bryant University. Week 2 against Texas State, who defeated them in overtime last season. Then they have right off the bat, week 3, the Conference USA play.
That's going to be a tough one.
Yep, it's always, Isaac knows, always a tough one. Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
And then they go back into non-conference play to play New Mexico State. That won't be an easy one either. Then they play Connecticut. That won't be an easy one either. And then they continue on with Conference USA play to play UTSA, Charlotte, Louisiana Tech, North Texas, Florida Atlantic, which it's the Shula Bowl. FIU is not defeated.
It's an FIU now. Yeah.
Since 2016. UTEP, and they finished the season off against Middle Tennessee, who, of course, will be facing University of Miami. Isaac, you and I both know FIU's program. This, again, new team, new head coach, new athletic director. What are you thinking about this year for FIU?
Well, it's really, a new energy, right? And, you hope for the best as an FIU alumni that your football team can have a fighting chance. But this year, I wouldn't even have high expectations, and not necessarily because I know they're going to be horrible or whatnot, but they're rebranding. They're coming off, a couple years of kind of just being in the middle of this fake greatness that we had because we had, Butch Davis and his UM rings. He came over here with his UM rings. But Yeah, like I said, it's going to be a year where you kind of have to tamper the expectations a bit. Like you mentioned, Danny, that game against Western Kentucky, that'll be the first conference game. So whatever happens with Bryant University, Texas State, you throw that out the window, and then you have to start a new season almost in conference. The conference schedule against Western Kentucky, and then those two out of conference games, New Mexico State and University of Connecticut, those could be dangerous too. Especially not a familiar opponent. You have a young team, but yeah, I don't think they'll be bowl eligible. Unfortunately, you kind of have to see what you have right before you know what you have. And one player that I think that can make the difference this year. You hope he stays healthy. For some reason, it always happens with the receivers in FIU that they just can't stay healthy. But Tyrese Chambers had
Yeah.
9 touchdowns last year, had a couple 100-plus-yard receiving games. So I'm
Went
hoping
to the transfer portal and he came back as well.
he came back. So you wonder, hey, why is it that he came back? Did he come back because he couldn't find another starting position, or is it that he just believes in this new philosophy for the coach, the new coach coming in? So you wonder, you got to wonder and see what you got. But we won't know until the football season ends and see how many wins this team can get. I say, 4 or 5 wins. I'd be happy with that, especially not knowing what we have yet and how this team historically has done in the conference, just not very well. So Tampa expectations, definitely not expectations, not 10 wins, not anything like that, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Um, Isaac and Daniel too. Um, would you? I know FIU isn't like a really like big football program, right? Not like Alabama or one of those top schools or like or something like that, right? But I would think FIU should look into like the NIL deal things now. Now that like plenty of schools are starting to take away good 4-star, 5-star recruits from Alabama, Oklahoma, Ohio State, all those top schools, and they're coming down to like nobody schools because they're getting deals and they're getting paid now, especially Florida, Texas, California, and maybe you're missing another one, but those are the top three states for football recruits. So I'm like, geez, now FIU, South Florida, Miami, you're in the middle. You would think, yeah, maybe we can get some good like recruits coming in. It's like maybe they can't play for Shit, you know what? Come play for FIU.
Here's the problem.
Yeah,
Here's
and that's
here's the problem with recruiting. Everyone comes to recruit in South Florida. The problem with FIU is that they get the back end of the recruits. The recruits that no one took, those big schools didn't take, those are the ones that end up at FIU or in FAU. What's the problem?
I mean, like right now, is getting like a multitude of 4-star recruits and 5-star recruits. Like right now, like but
from the
remember,
transfer
there's
portal.
only a 52, 53 man roster. Where are they all going to be? They're all going to have to go somewhere else. And if they want to come down to South Florida, I mean, FIU, I mean, the program isn't as big, but it's still a notable program. You still maybe you can bring something that's not as big and make it something that's, like I don't know, make something of the school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just to add to that. Like, I'm looking at the roster right now for 2022. Mind you, this is the spring roster, so it might be some changes before the season ends. But I mean, begins. But you guys, you look down the roster and you see Sacred Heart. We got Indiana. We got a lot of Syracuse, Nicholls State, Blinn College. Like more than half the roster has come in from other schools already. So that's the thing, that you hope that more than half the roster is from guys from those big schools and big transfer portal schools. But yeah, I don't see any Alabamas here. I see a lot of random universities, but this year would be the year to build that image to say, hey,
Exactly.
you win 5 or 6 games, 6 or 7 games, maybe you get bowl eligible. We'll see what happens. But then you would see a team get bowl eligible, and then those other guys, thinking about leaving their team, say, hey, I can come down to FIU and I can start from day one if I just
Yeah.
go there, and I can be bowl eligible. So this could be a big statement year for FIU.
Like the transfer portal, like 3 days ago, Robbie S been on for college football. My University of Miami lands UCLA linebacker transfer Caleb Johnson, 2 year starter for the Bruins. He chose the Canes over Texas, and Texas right now is like supposedly like top 5 in the country. He in 17 starts he totaled 89 tackles with 2 interceptions and 5.5 sacks. Like that's pretty decent. Like that's a good pickup.
Yeah, but we're just gonna have to see what come August time. Spring is always that tease of, man, you get that taste of college football, but you gotta wait till August.
Bro,
So
I know.
we'll see what happens with UM and FIU when the time arrives. But that's all the time we have for tonight's show. From Isaac, myself, and Jonko, we appreciate everyone tuning in. Episode 47 is in the books, and we'll see you guys next week for a brand new episode. Have a good night and great rest of your week.